Yes, that's what it just happened.
Okay,
Yeah, you
so
good now.
yeah. I believe we getting started. My guy
Yes,
Dahi
sir.
Divine, what's good? How you
What's
feeling?
going? Hey, man, I can't complain, bro. Just getting everything together. Life.
I
You know,
feel that.
everything's been good though, for the most part.
That's good to hear. And getting everything together for your album that is
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's getting released, I believe, tonight or
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. Well, it'll probably be on streaming services tomorrow and throughout the weekend. Like they all kind of trickle in, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'll be posting it on like the free places today. Like free for me. You know what I'm saying? But
Got
because
you,
you got to
got you.
pay for the streaming services, yeah, they're all free for everybody else or however they do.
Well, by
But
the
yeah, man,
time
I'm definitely excited.
yeah, by the time this joint drops, it's gonna be out, and I'm
Yeah,
super
it's gonna be
excited
out.
to hear this joint. So it's called
Hmm.
Planted, and
It's called Planted.
can you just tell me a little bit about your new album that you about to drop?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So like you said, it's called Planted. It's a 7-song project, and it features me on saxophone on probably I want to say every single song.
Hmm.
I'm playing the sax on every song. I'm also like rapping or singing on every song. And the reason it's called Planted is because while I was like writing one of the songs, which became the title song, the song was just kind of about like the fact that technically we're just like carbon living beings on this planet trying to like receive like the light, like literal light and love, like you know what I'm saying? Because without both, we would just be done. Wouldn't be here. We need to remember that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes egos and all kind of shit get in the way, and just like it's beautiful that we have this ability to have like such a self like understanding of ourselves as humans, but like we really are just like planet out this John, like planet on this
Mm,
earth, like it's not like any deeper than that. Like we really need like our environment to survive. Like we need it. It's like we're a part of it, and we need it. So it's like I would say gratitude album. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just about like the aspects of like that's like the last song on the album, and that kind of like boils it down to like how I feel like the overarching aspects of gratitude. But then there's a couple other songs. Like there's a song called like Harmonic Codes, which is about like just being grateful that I like was taught how to understand music at a young age from
mm.
like legendary musicians in Philadelphia, and like just that how that changed my life, and how like immediately once I like kind of got into that, it was something that I knew I was going to do for the rest of my life. Like it wasn't anything that was going to change that. And it was like funny because I like rap about kind of growing up in Philly, and how like there's been so many like this city is kind of like it can pull you down into like a low vibration. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's a
Facts.
lot of like impoverished people here who like struggle, and then there's like a culture that's like a struggle culture. You know what I'm saying? Like we literally like it's almost like when you're growing up here, you gotta like be wary and wear your surroundings at all times, and also like you have to put on like a front because of the fact that like growing up being young, it's hard to be interested in certain things and like not get ostracized out this joint. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Facts.
remember like when I played the saxophone for all my homies that you probably know because we was at school together when we were like in ninth grade. At the end of ninth grade, I had went like a whole year, and like people didn't really know I played that joint because it was like central. That joint was like a fashion show, and it was like a popularity contest every day, and like just like certain things like that. And so I went into Central wanting to play sax, but then they didn't have any spots for me. and I was playing ball, and then I was getting involved with like these people and these interests and this type of shit going to South Street, not little like, you know, Philly shit. And then when I finally was like, hey y'all, like I gotta let y'all know something. Like I play the saxophone. Like I really like fuck with playing the saxophone. I remember like niggas like laughed like really hard. Like they heard me play and they was like they couldn't help but crack up. And like, you know, walking around uptown and like Broad Island with my horn days would just be like funny because it was like I was almost like targeted, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this nerdy boy got a saxophone and shit. And so, you know, there was so much that like I had to kind of fight to just be comfortable with the fact that I did that shit when I was like 15, between like 14, 15 and 16. And then like, once I really was just like, this is what I want to do. I'm about to start inviting my friends who like to the jazz festival that like don't come to this joint, only come here to like try to bag chicks and like, cause it's a block party, you know. Remember the West Oak Lane Jazz Festival?
Yes, I do. I don't think I've ever been, but I almost
Bro, I
went a
used
couple
to
times.
invite, yeah, I used to invite like, you know, just the homies at the 10th grade, like, well not after, but during 10th grade, I start like, well that summer after, I guess. I started inviting friends to come hear me play. And it was like, I remember how weird I felt. Like I felt so like nervous for some reason, you know what I'm saying? And those memories and those feelings and just the idea of like, you know, it's always been something that I love to do. But then like kind of coming, like kind of shedding my shame and just really like championing that shit and being like proud that I did that. Because by the time by the time we like started linking, I was doing that. I was like playing sax everywhere, you know, we would go and, you know, but it was different in high school and, you know, it was a lot different growing up. It was more so like, and it was funny because a lot of my homies were in the same type time. Like if I had friends who played instruments, you would have never knew during high school because they were just like the typical Philly dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just like a vibe. Then you find out that they, you know, on Sunday, they play at this church. They play like the most beautiful stuff we've ever heard at church, you know. And but then every the 6 other days of the week, they like gooned out, you know what I'm saying, or whatever they into. Hoopers, you know what I'm saying, just like just that vibe, like. And then you know, just I would say it's like I remember when I was writing the album is kind of like just a snapshot of my life when I was writing it too, because I wrote it at the end of like in the fall of 2018 and in the winter of 2019. The album's pretty much finished, not finished, but written at that point. And then like I probably, well, it was produced by the, you know, fall 2018, and I wrote all the songs in that winter and spring of 2019. And then I start doing the parties with Silo, the Fake Thrills parties, and those parties were like the first times I performed that music. And so it was dope, like, you know, because a lot of times, you know, a lot of artists, like, we all know how it feels, just like have it in your computer and then like finally like get the experience of like giving it to the people and the reactions and like, you know, things like that. But yeah, I'm very excited though. I got a bunch of Philly like, you know, just monsters on it. I call them monsters, but they're just talented. Everybody in Philly is amazing. So features, I have Gabe is on there. Gabe Wolf is on there.
Go.
Yeah, Gabe
Sway
blessed me with a super track. Yes, Gabe blessed me with a super track. And then Destiny X.
You got Destiny on that joint too?
I got Destiny. Mm-hmm. I got Jordan Brown.
Hey.
I got yeah, it's like a lot of folks on there. I got I don't know if you know Tati. She sings.
Tati, is she a DJ?
No, not DJ Tati, but Tati the singer. She's like I don't know her like artist name, but I just know her as Tati. She you know Alexia, the guitarist and Although I gotta turn off
Oh, do your thing, man.
alarm.
Alexia. Oh, Dahi's about to drop an album. I'm very excited about that. And I know like he's moving towards the jazz side. You got it. You got it.
Yeah, and so yeah, and got some of my folks from New Jersey, Joe River and Shay Davis. And then they're singing on there. I had my homie Victor Jernigan singing on there as well. Or Vic vocals on, Instagram and all that. And then the musicians, this was probably like my favorite part of the album, putting together the music and like the production. It was just like, it was exciting because it was like I had never produced a record like this before, and it was all based on like how I kind of like organized getting it done. Like it was super efficient. I didn't really waste anything, and it was the first time I had ever did this. So how the record started was like most things that I do. It started with me in my room, like playing the piano and writing the chord progressions to the songs that I wrote. Coming up with like, these chord progressions on the piano, writing them into manuscript, also like while I'm coming up with chord songs, I like to learn a lot of songs so I can have like a lot of cool little like things that I'm learning this song because this part of this song, I like the harmony. So I'm gonna learn the bridge of this song. I'm gonna learn it in a bunch of other keys. I'm gonna learn how to move those harmonies around, learn those voicings throughout the piano. Then I'll start just like kind of getting into like a creative space where now that I've taken in all this information, I just want to like kind of like lock into like what I like, what feels good to me. I might like just like get a vibe, come up with some cool sounds, smoke a little bit, play piano for a few hours, just let something just kind of like hit me, you know what I'm saying? Where like, like hit my heart or hit my head, and then once I get that, then I get to the point where I'm actually like, all right, I'm gonna jot this down, put it into like a musical score, so that like whatever instrumentation that I want to have do this can like easily just like look at it on a page and get it done. I don't have to like break everything down by showing them by ear. I can like that's one of the beautiful things about like learning music at that level. Like if you know how to like write out your score, a person who can read music can just pick that joint up and then play it after looking at it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So that made going into the studio a little bit smoother. But what actually happened was I didn't go into the studio with a band. I went to the studio with just a drummer, me and Kyrie. So I went to the studio with me and Kyrie, and at that time I didn't play sax. All I did was play keys, and me and him just played duo keys, and we kind of like played together on my songs over like the songs and the different parts and things that I wrote. And from that, I got all these really dope, like, just live drums to like the songs and to the little parts. And so and then after that phase, I probably had like, 30, 40 minutes to about an hour of drum sounds and the songs that I had written. And I wanted this record to be like a jazz record. Like for me, it was like, I want this to be like my compositions. Like just how when I released my first jazz album at like 21, while I was in college, like my senior year at the new school. And there were the songs that I had wrote while I was there and, writing them like all the way, every part, the bass part, the drum part, the piano part, things like that. I wanted to do the same thing for this album. And so that was, doing both of those things, getting Kyrie on them, everything came together like I wanted. I started piecing it together on Logic. And then the next step was linking with my homie Javi, who pretty much was like the co-producer. Javi, I had to go to Minneapolis to link up with Javi. Me and Javi went to school together. And Javi lives in Oakland right now. And he's definitely like doing his big things out there. He recently got accepted into like the Herbie Hancock Jazz Institute, which is like huge. It's like they only pick like every like 2 or 3 years or 4 years, they only pick like 7 people in the whole entire world to be in that job. It's like most jazz schools are selective, but like this one is like, and then it's like and then I don't know if you know who Herbie Hancock is, but he's like probably the most famous. Yeah, all right, good. I'm glad, because he's the most famous goated jazz musician alive right now in terms of like legendary status and just the amount of music that he's like kind of like, you know, just been a part of from his perspective. Like this man is like has probably the most, Herbie Hancock has the most vast musical ability and spectrum of like things that he's recorded. Like a lot of guys can be like, oh yeah, this is a great drummer for gospel music, or this is a great pianist for jazz music, or this is a great pianist who does like hip hop and arrangements, or this guy does classical music. Herbie has done it all, like at the highest level, and it's really hard to come by, like especially at the highest level, like to be at that level. And so yeah, my homie Javi, I just wanted to give him a shout out. He's going to the Herbie Hancock Jazz Institute. He's doing his thing, but 2 years ago, I went to hang out with him for Thanksgiving in Minneapolis. That was super fun. We recorded the whole record. We played like a bunch of jazz gigs. His pop has like a jazz club.
In Minneapolis?
Did a couple nights in Minneapolis, yeah. Wow. And so like he plays the piano, but he pretty much put like the piano and like all the key bass and all the like synthesized parts on the record for me. And like I pretty much went to him with like skeletons of like the chords and like the drums, and he put basses and everything on there. And once I was finished with him, I linked up with like the people who kind of like put the glaze on it, which was like the horn player, my horn players, my boy JoJo, my guitar player Russell, and was lit as everybody except Javi is gonna be there on Saturday at the album release party. Like we really got the authentic guys coming through, which is like super dope. And then yeah, so after in the recording process, after they finished doing their parts, I start writing, I start reaching out to features. I knew I wanted it to be like a lot of people, just because, you know, as it's like that's kind of how I feel like I am in this scene. Like I feel like as much as I am an artist, I feel like I'm also like a supporter of other artists, because I can be in like the background and the foreground. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love in like the golden world to be like doing like, you know, world shows with my friends from Philly who are also like frontline artists, where I can do my part as an artist, but then also do my part as the saxophone player in the back, in the behind, in the band. You know what I'm saying? Mm. And I've always kind of wanted to be like in both worlds, and like mainly more so in the saxophone and production than in the artist world. But it's just, I kind of couldn't neglect to like the songs that were in my head too. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, couldn't neglect to like, because, you know, it just was like a moment where like everybody I knew was rapping, and like I was smoking and freestyling and hanging out with these people. And so it's just like, damn, like, am I like should I hop on something? And then I remember the first time I hopped on a track, it was like the craziest feeling. It just made me realize that I'm gonna be doing this for like the next probably 50 years. Like, wow. It was, because it was like a minute where all I was doing was just trying to like make beats with people. And I didn't consider myself like a rapper. I had never written a rap. And then I was like, you know what? I think I was like 21 or 22. And I was just like, you know what? I'm about to like put out a mixtape or something. Like, I can do that. I feel like, you know, I've been rapping and freestyling and hanging out with these people. Like, it's about time. But yeah, so back to the album. My bad, I've been going these tangents. But
oh man, I'm just soaking it in, dog.
Yeah. No, you know, but back to the album, like, you know, when I was finished that part, I was like, all right, I would love to get like some of my favorite voices and like people on it. I was trying to get more rappers to get on it too, but, you know, that was harder because like a lot of times, like, you know, I don't know, it's just like unless a rapper like can match the vibe with a verse, it might not be suitable just to just put any verse on a song that has like specific meanings and like, you know what I'm saying? And so like that was a little bit tougher, but the singers, I got mainly like mostly singers. It's 20 minutes long too, the whole 7 songs. So it's like a good, like quick, if you got to ride, a quick ride or a quick bike ride, it's a really nice, like, and I made it so it would like play from start to finish. Like it's very cohesive of a vibe, like in terms of like the sounds that I'm using. Like I try to use the same sounds throughout the record, like if it was like a show, you know.
Interesting.
You know, in terms of like the instruments, like it's everybody, the guitar's on every song, the trumpets on every song, everybody's playing their part. And like, I would go and do these shows and have all these beats that I just rapped on. But then I'm like, damn, like if I do something with my band, I want to do stuff with my band, they all got to have a part. And so then it was just like getting more focused on that. But yeah, man, playing it, it's going to be lit.
Playing
trying to think if I forgot anybody.
Well, if you did, let me know. Ooh, that was quite a lot. Sounds like
yeah, I know.
Quite the journey. Nah, man. It's cool. I always you got it. You got it.
No, man, it was definitely a journey. But what you about to say?
No, I just always you know, back when I was in the underground Philly music scene or whatever, and I was like managing artists and in the studio and this and that, I always enjoyed like listening to like musicians who really like do this, like really have a grasp on like the undercurrents of like music and harmony. Because I don't have these concepts of these words, and it's cool for how you kind of explained like just kind of catching some of the harmonies in your process. I always like love hearing that, and sound like, man, it's kind of just made me a little nostalgic. Like I feel like it would have been so cool to just like be in a room with you and Kai, just to like.
Yo, bro, that's gonna happen though, cause like, you know, I love Kyrie, man. Like, that's my guy. He's definitely like, when I was 18, that boy just took me under his wing, bro, and like he like put me on pretty much all the old heads who like, you know, most of them who I've played with, I met them through like, you know, Kyrie being like, bro, like we out, I got a gig, come with me and bring your horn, like, you know what I'm saying? And you know, having him just as like a big bro throughout this shit was just crazy, because Kyrie really knows everybody in Philly who's been in this mix. You know, before COVID, he was touring the world, one of the greatest jazz musicians. Yeah, Kyrie was doing big things. Joey DeFrancesco, if you look him up, he's like a Philadelphia organ player, but he's probably the most famous jazz organist in like, you know, the most like, he's like, you know, there's levels to the jazz shit. And it's like, there's a lot, once you get to a certain point, everybody's really good. But then it's also like, how much records have you put out? How many people have you played with? Those types of things start to like help you as you like get involved deeper into it. And so like playing with like a legend like Joey D is serious. Like Kyrie was on tour with Joey D. It was like awesome for him. And you know, Kyrie plays like literally every night in Philadelphia. Like he's like one of the most sought after people here, you know. And yeah, that's my guy though. But
that's
being in the studio, it's like we all kind of have a symbiotic relationship now. Like keep it 1,000.
I just have a like.
And then.
Oh, you got it.
No, go ahead, bro. My bad, bro.
No, I was gonna say I just have such a vivid like picture in my head of this man playing the drums and like the faces he be making, like when he hits some shit.
Like, when he had the open mouth.
Like, all that shit. Like, that shit is
he be going crazy, bro. You know, Philadelphia has the best drummers in the world, yo. I'm biased, but I'll stand on that. Like, I'll truly stand on that. Like, everybody in the world should come to Philadelphia. It's like Philadelphia, Cuba, and Africa. It's like
the struggle, dog.
The struggle. It's like percussion and rhythm is like an expression of that shit, of the struggle, of all of, and of just like the culture, like, you know, the beautiful black stuff that like you know, you can't deny, and that we'll never like, I don't know. It's just like a space for it, just because it's just like, damn, like everybody in the world understands that we all come from this. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is really like fucking like, you know, the source. Like, yo, he was just in my kitchen doing African Yoruba chants and like playing my table like
wow.
a couple nights ago. Yeah, Kyrie is next level, bro.
Yo, so first I was gonna say is like I would even go like I've been told this by multiple different people, like when I was in the music world, that like you said Philly has the best drummers. I would say low key like musicians, like or
musicians, yeah. Like, I would say musical scene for sure. Like I feel like when you come here, our musical scene is like so compact, which makes it easy to like get into, because it's like all you gotta do is like go in North Philly or go downtown and you'll damn near hear a band or somebody playing. Right. There's gonna be an event going on where there's gonna be some people doing something. And then there's so many talented artists. It's like crazy, like, you know.
So many.
I don't know. Like I think my purpose is kind of like blending the new shit with like the fucking like sources of what we kind of as like people and black people in Philly and in the past kind of like really were tapped into, because the new shit is like beautiful and dope and people like, you know, it's like, oh, we're young, this is how we express ourselves. But then there's like so much that like I feel like the average person won't like peep about like Philly and like our history and just like music history and just like how much all of it's embedded in like what we doing. Like those trap drum rhythms are really like, you know, like a West African drum circle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like our rap rhythms are the same thing. Like triplet flows or is jazz. Like John Coltrane, like Rakim said back in the day that he wanted to sound like John Coltrane. That's what Rakim said when he started rapping. He's like, I want to rap like John Coltrane plays the sax. And like John Coltrane was down 33rd, you know.
For real?
33rd Diamond. Yeah, Diamond? Bro, his house is right there. That's where he grew up. That's where he was from. Bro, it was like.
For real? What?
Real talk. Yes. That's why it's such a, like, bro, when I was a kid and like learning all that and getting involved in the city and this music shit was just like, I loved it. Like, it was like, but then it would be like going to high school was like, I couldn't ever tell nobody that. Like, niggas was getting bust on, you know what I'm saying? We was getting bitted on all day long. Like, that's all we used to do to each other growing up. And so when you had that, you know, I couldn't be like, yeah, man, like, y'all ever listen to John Coltrane, pull out some Train? They'd be like, yo, what the fuck is this?
Yo, facts.
But dog, like, yo, bro, I was like geeking out on John Coltrane in high school. I probably listened to him more than I listened to like rap. Like for real, bro. Like, I feel like listening to rap has been something that I started doing more in college. And then when I was a kid, before I got into music, like when I was like 8, you know, like 9, like I used to listen to rap music. But before I started playing instruments and I learned about how rich Philly is, bro, Philly is ridiculous. Like, it's like, if you grew up playing here, you get like an authentic, like, just like culture that regardless of how great you become on an instrument, you're always going to be like tapped into that, which is like something that like, it's amazing. Yeah,
right.
Both from 33rd and Diamond, bro.
That's wild. I don't know. Yo, that's crazy because yo, Zay used to live right on 33rd and Diamond. Like, I'm trying to figure out.
I used to pull up on Zay all the time over there.
Right. Oh, don't you got a crib over there? Like, what?
Yeah, I just bought a crib. Yeah, I did.
Well, congratulations on that.
I just bought something over there.
But I'm still fucked up that John Coltrane used to be on 33rd and Diamond. Like,
yeah, bro, they trying to tear down his house too. That's just messed up. Like that John shit is like should be a national landmark, and like, you know, but yeah, bro, John is from Philly, is from North, and like his, like, I would say, like, you can listen to John Coltrane records for probably like days. I don't know how long, but maybe days. Like, I know more than one day. My man has like far more than 24 hours of music. Like, and like that's deep. Like, a lot of people don't.
That's rare, dog.
It's like he was just on another level. Like Bo's goated. But yeah.
May have to throw him on the Spotify after I listen to Playing It. So I go through Playing It a couple times. Man,
you should listen to After the Rain. I got like, there's John Coltrane got him all the dope records, but like, I don't know, this is like a super, I like to put like that John is like super beautiful and spiritual. You can do yoga to it. It's just like his ballads, bro. John Coltrane was like, and all his Groyd next level jazz, like the stuff where he's like playing 10-minute solos and stuff. That stuff is crazy too. Like, what's that one record? Transitions part 1 and 2. Yeah, you might have to. Or let me make sure that's the right one.
Okay, while you do that, also, you know who I really get down with, or at least I had a phase in my life, Alice Coltrane, his wife.
Oh yeah, Alice is amazing too, bro.
She got some
Alice is like
stuff.
No, Alice is killing, bro.
And I forget,
there's like
you got it.
There's bootlegs of them playing together in like Temple University and like around Philly and stuff, bro.
Yo, that's I really had no
idea. My folks, he got all of them Jones.
About that connection, but she got one. I forget because like some of her stuff, like I listen to it, I'm kind of like, oh, this is like out there. She goes way out there.
Yes.
Which I get down with. I respect that. But she also has like, I think it's one album, I forget what it's called, but like that shit was really like, so like hit my soul in such a deep way. Mm-hmm. Like, just, I don't know. Imagine like Alice and John Coltrane's life. Like this whole Philly music history lesson. Like,
yeah, man, it is, yo. I definitely like this shit it's really crazy. Like one of my college professors, right? He was pretty much like John Coltrane's like young boy in the streets. Mm-hmm. Like he pretty much ran my college. His name was Reggie Workman. But when John Coltrane was like killing it and at his height, Reggie was like from down north, or like more like Germantown, like New Germantown North, like Nicetown, but then like Brickyard still too. But Reggie Workman was like he ran the new school program, and like this boy was on Train Records and stuff, and like, he was just trains like.
Dahi Junior on my block.
Hold up, y'all. I gotta find the.
Hi.
I'm doing this little interview.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Is that Mama Divine?
That's Mama Divine.
Hey,
Mama
what's going
Jane.
on, yo?
Mom, what?
The little box, the block for the charger, the little white block.
For your phone charger?
Yeah, you remember the white?
Yeah, the one. It's right there.
Okay, that's all.
Here, it's right back there.
This is right here, right?
I guess that works, but the one up there was the one that said your mistress on it on the floor.
This I may or may not cut this out.
Okay.
Yes, it's all good, yo.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. What's good? It's good to see you, yo. Your mom's a real life angel.
No, my mom is definitely like a super, super great person. Like, she be holding it down. But yeah, man. What are you talking about?
Yo, it don't even matter. That was like a whole lesson. I like that. I like all of that. But yeah, it's funny. Like that was one question, and it just kind of streamlined into all these different things. I love that. But yeah, so I don't even know where I'm trying to go next. Yeah, okay, let's get into this. I remember. Yeah, actually, I want to hear more about like just your relationship to the saxophone. And like, I guess like the process, the growth, like you said, like kind of shedding that skin, feeling brave to even go do what you love. And then also how we talked about like before this, Joe, and how like the last 2 albums were more like rappy, kind of feeling like you were trying to fit into some Philly box, I want to say. And this joint is more jazzy, like more Dahi.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, like in terms of like my relationship with the saxophone and like, I feel like it kind of like changed my personality a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because I was naturally like just like a person who like being around people and stuff, and like I like just doing things, and like, you know, I had a lot of friends in a lot of different things. Like I had sports friends and like, you know, friends who we would just like. I used to be in a swim team, like, you know what I'm saying, like doing all kind of stuff. Like it's people you know that I was hanging out with that was on that same swim team, and like I don't know, how saxophone changed me was that like once I started really loving it, I remember like how it kind of made me like less wanting to do the social things and more wanting to just like put in like my 5 hours. When I turned like 16, like the summer before, I felt like the 11th grade, it was like, I don't remember. I think what happened was like one of my friends, he had like just got picked up with like one of the biggest jazz gigs, a homie Justin. And like, we used to be around him all the time, every weekend pretty much. And so like just being around, he just started introducing me to all these people who were like played the saxophone, who like put me on to all kind of crazy stuff. Like, oh yeah, come out, hang out. Yeah, talking to me. You should check out this boy. You need to download this record. And then like being around that more just kind of made me like gravitate to like, all right, like I gotta study this shit. Like this is like a extensive, like this is a very extensive like culture that like you can't bullshit. Like you gotta really be locked in. Like before you even get any like love for what you're doing, if you don't know every tune written without looking at it, you know, if you don't know most of the tunes in the common, you know, known, like all the jazz niggas know these tunes,
Right.
and nobody's taking you serious. You know what I'm saying? And so I just had a lot of studying to do. And so then that kind of made me like, you know, in high school, like go from like first 2 years of just wanting to be around and like wanting to do a lot and going to parties and all that to just like cut off from all of that, just like changing me like, yo. And that kind of made me a little more mature, I guess, because at that point I felt like I kind of had shit to lose. And then as college kind of came around, I was so deep in that, it almost like the opposite happened where I kind of like start like missing like just like the like social aspects of like, you know,
Life.
of life and having friends who didn't play music and like, you know what I'm saying? And like just that type of vibe. And like I would come back home to like party at like with people, go to Silk or do whatever, go to y'all parties, Park Ave, all kind of stuff. And it would just be like, damn, like, you know, now I'm kind of like wanting to seek that a little bit more too, as well as be like practicing and getting my shit together. Because that'll definitely like make you a great musician, but also like you have to kind of live to make good music. You can't just be good at music to make good music. It doesn't really work like that. Like you have to have like life experiences and have like, you know, joys and pains and like real shit happen. So it was kind of like, you know, just the balance. But yeah, the saxophone definitely like has like had its impact on my personality. It's hard. You know, I have ebbs and flows when I practice like I really want to. Like right now, I haven't been shedding because I've been just like working on everything else to do this like album and show and everything. But you know, probably like a month ago, I was like practicing like for like a week straight, just like, you know, like when those moments where I just get time to just be home, I'll just kind of like really lock in. And like, you know, I got my horn. Maybe later I'll play you some like exercises or just like, cause practicing is like a whole thing. It's not necessarily like, it's like one of the hardest things to do. Cause it's like not hard if you're social with your instrument to learn how to play music with other people, but to get better, you have to like put yourself in like your weakest place. You have to like I'll sit for 10 minutes and just like play the note that sounds like shit on my saxophone until it finally doesn't. Like play the little like passage. You gotta really put in work. It's just like any skill, you gotta really own it. Like you gotta, and then it's also like lifting weights also, where if you take some days off, you kind of now are further back along. Like it's kind of like a thing you have to just go to really get better. You got to play and practice for like a year, and then you're gonna be step back and be like, all right, I've gotten this good, but now I need to get this good. And it's like there's levels to it. There's like people out here who still like, I've been playing for 17 years now, and then people out here who really scare me. Like they like, and they've been scary since they were like 15 and 14. Like it's too much. Like it's also like how do you get that good nights? Like how many hours did you practice? Like Jesus, like.
Well, I still haven't come across nobody who's hotter than you on the sax, as far as I'm concerned. In my travels.
Hey man, you already know I love you for that, bro. But
that's just my opinion. I don't hold no weight in the music in the jazz scene.
No, it really doesn't. But I love y'all, man. Y'all know y'all. All my folks at home, bro. Like it's nothing better than the love and the support that I get from from all y'all when I'm doing this shit. But like, it's definitely crazy.
Okay.
Like, it's definitely goofy. There are people out here who's really like give me nightmares sometimes.
But either way,
like
nigga,
John
nice.
Coltrane.
And you're nice. Like we know that. Anyone who hears you play knows that. And the sax is also taking you to some very interesting places, shall we say?
Oh yes, for sure.
One of those.
Sure.
One of the things I first think of is I remember in high school. I believe it was definitely high school. You played on the Grammys with the Dave Matthews Band, and I remember like that time period at Central at school. Like you was that nigga. Like that was on the Grammys. Like yo, what? Like, fucked everybody up with that. Like,
no, that shit was so crazy.
Like yo, it's like what?
I remember Facebook went crazy for me. Like that was love, yo.
Bro, I remember like yo, we was just hooping like a couple of days ago. And you in the Grammys, nigga? Like I didn't even know. But like, what was that experience like? Like, tell me about that.
Oh my gosh, bro. That's for me when everything like. When all the hard work finally paid off, you know what I'm saying? That's when like all the like nights of just practicing, like just practicing hours and hours and hours and learning so many songs, it finally paid off. Like, I had to do a video to get into that joint. And so I went around the corner to the studio in Cheltenham. Like I'm from East Oak Lane, and like in Cheltenham is where like the studio was, and like I had my folks from Philly come through and back me up. I did 2 songs and I sent it in, and like, I didn't know what was gonna happen. But then they literally sent me an email saying I got accepted into the Grammy band, and so that experience was lit because this was the first time I'm meeting like all the best people from across the states in the whole entire country, from every city. At their instrument that like submitted into this. And so literally like all the young kids who want to go to jazz school, this is literally like where you meet like all the people. It's kind of like the NBA draft for jazz school. It was crazy. Like we got all the college recruiters were following us around at that joint. And like I pretty much got recruited to my college that day. Like the people, not that day, but that week when I was out there in the Grammys, because we had like a college tour, and after that they followed us to a show. My parents loved that shit; they were going crazy. My folks were just like so happy. I remember them just like going to fancy dinners and just following me around LA while I'm like, they treated us like we were like industry band that week. We literally had to do banquets. We had to do so many shows, and then to cap it off, we got to do the horn section for Dave Matthews, which was like next level.
Right.
Next level,
What was it like? You got it.
No, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, what was it like at the Grammys? Like, he was just at the.
I mean, like, it was crazy. Like, I saw famous people. That was like in high school, seeing like famous people very close up. and now like the saxophone, I must say the saxophone, that is something that the saxophone has like consistently given me the opportunity to get like cool ass gigs and like, you know, play for people who are like, you know, we all like kind of like, you know, we're all like somewhat fans of in like the world, you know what I'm saying? Like seeing Beyonce walk around, seeing like, you know, like seeing Jay-Z there and shit, like it was really crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was like I don't even know. It's like there's other people too, but it's just like that was enough for me. I was like, God damn, is that really Beyonce? And so, you know, and I'm like 17, and it was just like, you know, everybody I was there with was like on the next year or the year after, we're all going to be like going to jazz school for free, probably at some school in New York. So that's like when, or some of them went to Berkeley, but that's pretty much what happened. Like the next year, all them people from Grammy Band, I was like hanging out with them in New York and shit, and like that was like the vibe, and it was for me like the first time when I realized like, all right, like I'm all right, like I'm kind of a bull out this joint, like, you know, in the jazz shit, and it gave me a lot of confidence, but it was an eye-opening experience because like I had like a very authentic education on jazz. Like I wasn't like taught jazz by like, for specific like thing. Like I kind of had to be around a bunch of old heads who were drinking and smoking and learn how to play. And just like I was at clubs, like I was at Ortley before it was like a party club at like 15, 14, like every week. I was at all them clubs down north just listening to these cats. Like I was like, you know, I used to have to get chaperoned into like time at like 16 and like I wasn't allowed to be at 90% of these places, but because I played and like in Philly is such authentic education where you don't like, you don't, there's no like teachers here really, like all the people that I met that I got to Grammy Band, they had like some like high school program or some like curated program that really like that pretty much just like all you had to do is just be in that program and you were going to get really good. Like, like the suburban, like even in Philly, there's like suburban programs that teach jazz that like pay the musicians really well. So you can get really good musicians to come in and teach suburban kids how to play jazz. Like for one of the kids from the Grammy Band, he literally was like, he had his parents spending like $250 a lesson for his lessons from like one of the best piano players in the world. And like, obviously he was dope too. He sounded great, but it was just like a lot of times, like it was mostly like white kids, like 3-4 black people in the Grand Band. So like, you know, just like getting in there, and I was like, damn, like I'm happy I learned this way with these dudes know a lot of shit. Like, damn, like,
them old Philly
like,
niggas,
and it was lit. Like Philly niggas are lit. Them Philly niggas, the authenticity of like growing up in Philly and learning in Philly and being able to carry that into like that industry shit was crazy. But yeah, it was like a difference. It was like, damn, like I'm happy. I was kind of happy and grateful that like, all right, we like play different, like
right. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
You got
like,
soul, like this
you
shit
got
comes from a
soul.
different place.
Exactly. Like, yo, you've been to the clubs with me, bro. You remember I've showed you like my 11-year-old homies who are playing the drums and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you grow up in Philly, learning how to play, and it's just like beautiful because you get that like authentic experience. You might not get the textbook experience, but you'll definitely, you know, you'll get yelled at and like learn some real shit.
Yeah, like something I learned just like conversations with my partner who, you know, is also deep in the music scene is like, you know, it's a big difference between a musician and an artist.
Oh yeah,
and,
for sure.
You know what I mean? And like you can feel it.
Sure.
There's a lot of people who are like really good musicians that can play, do all the technical things right. But as far as like creating art from their soul deep place that like, you know, comes from experience and all these different you know, we both know some people, it's like, oh, you're a great musician. But as far as an artist, and
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a real thing. But also I wanted to, didn't you do something with Solange too? Or am I doing that?
I did. So I won't even. Solange was great. I really appreciate that. But the new John, the new situation right now, is her. I've been playing for her
For real?
most of 2021. Yeah.
Bro,
I reposted some of the videos, but all you gotta go if you go and look on like her performance at like Jimmy Kimmel and like
bro, I
and
didn't get
that that was definitely like a pretty crazy experience from two fronts because like number one, the first obvious one is her. Like I like think
Big
she's
time.
like yeah, she's definitely big time, but I also like really appreciate like I think to me she's like a blend of Lauryn Hill and Prince. Like she's so talented and like you know it's just like when you look at like all the artists today, she's like the one who like if a jazz school person became like a Grammy winning artist, it will be like that. Like she really sings at like the extremely high level, like vocalists. Like there's singers and there's vocalists. Singers can sing and have pretty voices, but vocalists are like trained. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she's kind of trained. Like, and then it's like guitar player, drummer, pianist. Like, it's like she plays all the instruments.
Oh,
and she's like, yes, bro. She's like Prince. Like when you Prince, a lot of people don't know, but Prince's first album that everybody loves, he cut every instrument on there. That's him playing drums, keys, synths, guitar, bass. Like he cut that whole joint by himself. So it's just like being able to do that is like, you know, like gosh, like, and so that's number one. She's awesome. I like really love the opportunity to play with her. But then like, so my brother recently passed away from COVID. And my brother was like in the music industry. He was my dad's first son. And he had been in the music industry since 94 as like a executive for Warner Brothers. And he taught me a lot about the music industry and about music in general. He like really was responsible for kind of like getting all those neo soul artists from Philly, like their deals and stuff.
Wow.
His name was Damu Mtume. And like, my brother Damu, he like really was a heavy bull. And he before he passed away, his job was he was Tiana Taylor's assistant manager. And so he was working for Tiana, and Tiana's band is the exact same people that's hers band.
Okay.
They have the same musicians playing for them. And so the first time I got to hit with her, actually even years before I even got to hit with her, I met them guys at like a diner in New York. This is like when I was living in Philly, traveling in New York to play gigs. I think I was after a Solange gig, actually. They might have came to the show, and then we all went to a diner and hung out. We were talking, and then we push come to shove, I found out they know my brother. And like they're Tiana's band, so it all made sense. And so like they're like, that's my guy. Like, yo, we did Dubai, this, that, and the third. They're telling me about all the fun they'd had on tour with Tiana and doing different stuff. And they didn't know he had oh no, I'm tripping. When I did the H.E.R gig, I hadn't seen them in like probably like a year or two. When I did the H.E.R gig, it was like they hadn't seen me for a couple of years, but then this was the first time they ever had to play with me. So they didn't like never had played with me before. And so then they were like putting two and two together, like, oh yeah, I remember when we was in the diner. Moo was your brother. Bro, I'm so sorry to hear about this. I literally got the call that he had passed away while sitting. Tiana got the call, and I was sitting with them chilling, like, and we were all just fucked up, like, and I'm just like, damn, yeah, man, it's been rough, cause so that kind of like made that situation like even closer, like, you know what I'm saying? Those guys from H.E.R, I like just fuck with them even more now because they're just cool as shit. You know, they've been calling me to play those gigs, and like they had a long relationship with love and memories of my bro. So like, you know, I love hearing their stories, and it's just lit. Like, you know, so I think things work out for the reasons they supposed to. You know what I'm saying? And like, hopefully, like, you know, that opportunity gets to like go longer. You know.
Wow, man. That's deep. That's like too deep for me to comprehend. right now in
Yeah,
this way. Yeah, I guess I want to just like, I don't even know what I want to do, to be honest. But if you feel like, want to maybe speak on the memory of your bro, or speak on that in any
yeah,
further
man.
way,
Definitely.
give you the opportunity to do that. And if you don't,
Yep.
obviously, which is totally cool, obviously, just even
No,
what you
I would
revealed.
love to, man, because like I don't really get to, and I don't really like, it's not like the type of thing that comes up in conversation.
Right.
But like, yeah, man, my oldest brother, he was like my brother dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was when I was born, he was like 23
Wow.
or 24. He was in his 50s. I think he was just about to turn 51 or 52. And like, he was so much like my pop. It was funny, like, but he was definitely like a major player in like the music shit from Philadelphia. But he worked out in New York. And so when I went to school in New York, he was like my lifeline out there. Like I remember when I had to like stop living in the dorms. I lived with my brother. You know what I'm saying? It was just like dorms were just too expensive up there.
All right.
Nobody, because they're making you pay like double what New York rents are for dorms.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nutty. You gotta take out like $20,000 a year just to pay a dorm. Like that's goofy, maybe more. But yeah, he pretty much was just like he took care of me. Like growing up, he used to like put me on to so much music and stuff. Like he was just so lit. Like my brother was the littest boy on the planet. Like I keep it 1,000. Like he would do stuff that would just like kind of like have you fucked up because he was so chill and such a relaxed dude and such a like kind of like social but like down to earth guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he never came off like he was that like flashy, like I'm above y'all niggas type dude, but he was definitely super dope. I remember one time he came back home after like doing a video shoot, and he had took my other brother with him, brother Satu, and they both came back, and me and my sister were like probably like, I don't know, we were young boys. We was probably like, I might have been 10, she might have been 12. And they literally came back like, yo, we just did this video shoot. This song that's about to come out is crazy. And my brother Sai, he's like animated. He started rapping that shit. He was like, this shit go like this. It's like to the window, to the wall, to the sweat drop down my balls.
Yo.
And I was like, y'all did it. He was like, yeah, Moo was like, talking to the director. He was like, he pretty much, he produced the shit. And my brother Moo was just chilling. Like, yeah. And like he pretty much was Warner Brothers executive producer for like black music up until like 2008 when like algorithms and all that shit took over. Like he lost his job to like magazine writers, bloggers, and like it was actually funny. Like when he was explaining that shit to me, he was like, "Yo." So at one point it was like all about relationships. It was all about like, are you the guy that like can go be down north, find us new talent, but also be in the room with Jimmy Iovine and like make deals happen and like get this $1 million that we need. Like,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And like he really knew all them dudes. Like, and so, during the neo soul era, heavy, he pretty much got John Legend his deal. He got a lot of dudes their deal. I mean, it was like John Legend went to Penn. He was a Penn student and like, just could sing. And then fucking my brother's artist, his own artist was Bilal, who a lot of people love. Like he executive produced Bilal's album. You know what I'm saying? He the funniest stories about that shit, like just crazy. So having him and like his mother's side of the family were like famous jazz musicians from South Philly, like Jimmy Heath. I don't know if you know him. That's my brother's uncle, famous jazz saxophonist. George Foreman, the pianist from Philly. He doesn't play no more, but he used to play, or I think he passed, but when he used to play back in his youth, they were all like jazz guys. Jimmy's son, M. Tume, was my brother's uncle. And M. Tume wrote the song, Juicy Fruit, that Biggie sample.
Oh, wow. Whoa, like the original John. That's heavy.
The original John. Yeah, he wrote that John. That's his John. You know, very well.
Right.
It was like him and his band in the 80s. That's the John. That was their cut. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, so my brother pretty much just went to New York using those family connects and like did his thing. Became like a exec for Warner Brothers because he really much was like, yeah, I really have like the people in Philly, but I also find you the talent to like sell these R&B records and these hip hop records. And he did his thing for a long time. And like he was like the handshake master. And like literally like while I was in school, like handshake master meaning like everything he did was like latest handshake deals that would have to go down, like, you know, just like crazy historical handshake deals that like changed the music industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to get you this singer, give me like, you know, this cut, and he'll be like ready for like, you know, your label. End up being John Legend, shit like that. Like, you know, it's crazy.
That's
and
crazy.
so and so yeah, like he was lit having him as a big bro, because like he was kind of like a guide for me through this music shit too. Once I start getting serious with it, he put me on to a lot of dope things. Whenever I would do my major things, he would usually pull up or something, like, because he knew his people too. So like, you know, he got me into so many places for free in New York, like all the crazy clubs that like I wouldn't be able to go in and spend no money because I was like a broke jazz ball. But
wow.
yeah, no, but he was lit, and like I miss him, man, because it was weird. Like when he passed, it was almost like it was from COVID. He was just not feeling well, and it just like plummeted his like state, you know, his physical state, which was just like, how the fuck did like that happen so fast? And then when a blood clot went to his brain, he was just like done. Like his body was still living, but and then it just happened so quick. And you know, we literally like had talked, hung out, made plans. Everything was just like it was almost like it was ripped from us. You know what I'm saying? And so that sucks, man. That just, I don't know. I'm just not like, I'm not in no like place to really like know how to feel about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like it. It's fucked up. And I feel so bad for his kids, man. My nephews, like, you know, his wife, all my family hurt, man. You know, he was like, my pop's getting older and he was next in line. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he pretty much like moved to Philly the year before and like was going like you know, just, you know, my dad is like the old head of the family, but my oldest brother was like, you know, and he was doing so many dope things, and it just like COVID came out of nowhere, and like nobody knew he had any health problems or anything, and it just snapped. And you know, I like this team a lot, man.
Man. Well, no, I'm deeply sorry for your loss, my friend. You know, I can't even come close to imagining that feeling and dealing with that pain and the whole situation. I just feel for you, man. I love you.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like it's just weird. You know, I already know late too, bro. We already know. You know.
And
but too, bro. He was nice at hooping too.
Oh, where he got buckets?
He got buckets. He made training camp for the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, he was nice.
Like 90, I want to say 2. Yeah, my brother was like 6'3". He was tall as shit. He was nice. He played for St. Joe's Prep in Europe. Then he made not St. Joe's Prep. St. Joe's Prep. Yeah, that's where he played.
High school or college?
High school, yeah, high school.
Okay.
Then he went to, I forget where he went to college. I don't remember. I think he went to one of them schools. But his son is nice too now. His son is like his 13-year-old son. You gotta look out for him. He just did a camp, like a Pennsylvania camp, 8th grade, like, you know, but it was like a Jersey camp, but it's like all country, one of them like top 8th graders in the AAU circuit. Like it was like one was like 6'9" in the 8th grade. Like
for real? Oh yeah, I feel like you told me about him. Like That's yeah.
You
That's
know, bro,
awesome.
my nephew is balling right now. I'm like happy for him. He's definitely like in his bag, and he just
True.
worked at it. Like his pop was nice though. His dad taught him a lot. His dad was nice. No, that's how it goes. You know, when basketball don't work out, you make something work, and you figure out what your strengths are, bro. You know,
Right.
and he definitely was like inspiring because he used to just be on the phone with like I remember when I was like 15 and he was on the phone with Pharrell. Like I could not I couldn't handle
Right. That's wild, bro.
it. Next level shit. Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna send you some music. Like the fact, like
All right. Well,
you know, man. But yeah, I appreciate you for letting me like get that off, you know.
you know, no problems at
You
all.
already
Of
know.
course. He sounds like an incredible human being. And
Yeah, you the fuck with him, bro. You the fuck with him. You was at the birthday party. I don't know if you remember him. He
yeah,
was like
yo,
he was a little taller.
how many tall brothers do you have? Because I know your family's
I got
like,
like it was like at that party it was probably like three or four of them, but it was like one light skinned one and one like brown skinned one.
I remember this. Like I met
It's
them
a
all. I dapped them all up.
mm-hmm.
I remember your pops was in that John, looking like a low key deity or some shit.
Man,
He
he's
had
in
the
his
lay
happy
on
the lay on the linen.
the linen, dog. I definitely dapped them up, but like your family is expansive.
Yeah, they big.
Actually,
Yeah, it's a lot
yeah,
of us. It's a lot
yeah.
of us.
Actually, might as well like what's your pop's name again? Like I know I just want to hear you
Knowledge
say
divine.
knowledge divine.
Knowledge got heap divine.
That always like makes me smile, dog. Like,
Hey,
like
bro.
hip hop name really knowledge divine, bro. Like
Hey,
that's
man.
I don't know, that's powerful. It's something. But how many siblings?
I'm the ninth child.
Ninth child. And you're
So
the youngest, right?
I'm the youngest child, yeah.
And
I'm the young buck. I'm about to be 29 in 4 days. And
hey,
I'm my dad's ninth child. It's crazy. He got 9 fucking kids, man. It's like damn.
happy birthday. When's your birthday? The
For
10th?
3 days actually. The
The
10th,
10th?
yeah.
That's when
The
the
10th,
John
yeah.
is. I'm gonna try to get this John out by
It's like a
then.
birthday. It's like a birthday, John. Yeah, man. You know, I feel like regardless, it'll be like a vibe if after or before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever you get
Like
a chance.
I feel like you got a lot of like cool ass homies that you got to swing this John that they would appreciate this, like for sure.
Oh no,
Like,
big facts.
yeah, like
I'm gonna definitely be posting and reposting this, John, bro. Heavy, like.
bro, yeah, I'm like I don't know. I feel like a lot every time like for we really got really close. Like we was definitely in high school like homies, but when you was up in New
Mm-hmm.
York. And like you would like hit me up like yo come through this John. Me and Gabe pulled up, and like I met
Mm-hmm.
so many music homies, like so many experiences,
Yeah.
and like you always just like got thorough, humble.
No, bro, I used to love that y'all used to come up, bro, because everybody used to say, like, yo, like, I love y'all Philly balls, man. Like, y'all, like, they would be like, y'all like the, like, I remember, it's just funny. Like, it's hard to say. Because we used to all busting each other like hipster ass, because, you know, that Brooklyn hipster shit is, like, so weird. But it's like, once you live there, you can't help but, like, get into that shit. You know, you start, like, dressing different and, like, you know, everything,
Right.
like, and so they met y'all and they were like, your friends are like hood hipsters. They like they like hippies, but you can tell they from like they not like New York people. I'm like, nah, Philly people are a little bit different. They a little more, it's like a different type of thorough energy. Like you on that shit, bro. Sorry, like
and yo, like we was wild, or like I was wild. Let me speak for myself. Like I know, like
yeah, but it was Philly people are wild as shit, but it's like, you know, I feel like you was wild, but you wasn't like a New York wild. New York wild is weird. Like, you know, we weren't like, I don't know. Let me not call it weird, but it's just different. It's just different. I feel like it's less it's just less solid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what's up with people. People are real shifty up in New York, and like in Philly,
Right,
a grimy
right.
bull is a grimy bull. A cool bull is a cool bull. Like, it's just how you already know how the part everybody play. Like,
Right. It's I mean,
know.
okay. Like let me tell a quick story. Not when I came up with you, but one time, I think it was senior year of high school. I had homies who went to St. John's in New York, right? And I was at high school visiting my friends in college, mad like excited to be there. And we had a good ass time. One boy was trapping, artist bud, did all these things, whatever. And we went to this one party at Long Island University, right? And like being a boy in high school, being at this Long Island party, that shit was lit. Like it was lit, like just the dancing, like it was just an incredible party. And it got at some point the cops showed up, right? And I was definitely like turned up. I never forget, that was the first time I ever smoked a black and mild. Like we was fried, we was drunk, smoked the black and mild, turned me up even more, right? Yeah. And so the party got busted, and like the party was on the second floor, and it was like a porch drawn, and like outside you go on the porch and go downstairs to exit the party, right? So the cops was at the top of the second floor, like ushering people out. And my homie, before he showed me his little knife. I had a little knife or whatever. And like I peeped the cops, my drunken mind, like I said, I was wild. I was like, yo, let me see your knife real quick. Bang, bang. Grabbed the knife, walked up to the police vehicle, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but like whatever. Fucking bong bong, hit the tire and just flattened the cop's tire, and it was like, yo, dip, 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 dip. And like it was like a group of niggas, like all New York niggas that saw that and was just like, yo, y'all Philly niggas is wild. Like what the fuck? Like it was like, yo, exactly. Like, yo, they went to my homie like, yo, like you talked to me about your Philly niggas, but y'all really is wild. And then to like add it all up is, so we walking back to the campus, St. John's, and we hear a car driving like doop, 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 doop. Because the fucking cop's tire was out, and everyone was like, "Yeah, dickhead, like that's what you get." And like, and I was like, "That's just like
shutting down the fucking party." Yeah,
that's just the energy that like we was coming up to New York with, like
around.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
dog. Yo, I remember y'all used to come to them chocolate factory parties. People would be like, "Yo, your Philly friends is crazy as shit, but they lit. They crazy. They lit though." I'm trying to tell you, that's what the fuck would happen, bro. Everybody be like, "Yo, I love y'all Philly niggas. Yo, y'all just different. Like, y'all crazy."
Like,
yo, I forget who came. There was like a couple times people came on like security move, like, you know, to them Jones, like, "Oh, you acting crazy. Like, it's my fault. It's my man Doc here. Like, you gotta get the fuck out of here." Like, I remember I used to have these two homies from uptown. They came to like our house parties and shit when me and my sister was throwing them Jones back in Philly. And these niggas was big as shit. The basement Jones. These niggas was big as shit. And so they would like come around, and if you was just acting weird, like lurking around the house, they'd be like, "Yo, cuz, like, the fuck is you doing, bro?" Like, just like, and sometimes niggas wasn't even lurking. Sometimes he was just like walking down the hallway or something. Like, "Fuck is you doing, bro? Why you going this way? The party downstairs, cuz there's nothing up there you need, dog." Like,
big facts.
But like real talk, like, you know, you gotta love it. It's just thorough, like. But no, yo, I feel you. Philly niggas are crazy, bro. Y'all is crazy.
Yeah, I'm just thankful that
I went up that joint and was just chilling.
Up New York?
No. Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I was on ice.
You always been chilling, bro. Like, it's low key.
Yeah, for real.
You never really got too much wild action. I'm just thankful I got it out of my system. Like, I had to just like, Philly definitely raised me, but now we have a healthy relationship from a distance. But yo, this joint's thorough, bro. Like, I really appreciate you, like, just giving me all this game, all this knowledge, history.
Amen.
And you know, some deep feelings from some place I can't speak on. But yeah, we've been at this for a minute. I feel like what you got going on for the future? Like, you about to drop this album. That's fire. You hit with her. You actually never answered my question. It's funny. What was it like playing with Solange? Yeah, so I'm gonna ask that because I'm trying to get this for my personal self. Like, bro, you did gigs with Solange, Beyonce's sister. Now you're doing gigs with her, who like is like super out here. Like, what is that? What's that like?
Oh, it's like it's like motivational. It's like you get to see what it looks like at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? It's funny as shit. It's like it's so lit. Solange is probably like the funniest experience because it started out like terrible as it went along. Because she actually hired me for like a good stretch of like 2 years for like 2 summers.
You was gigging for Solange for 2 years? I had no idea.
Like not like full 2 years, but like I didn't go on no tours. But like Solange, the way she had her stuff set up, where she had like regional add-ons. She had her like touring band, which was like bass, drums, and keys and guitar, and her background singers. And then she had her like regional add-ons, which would be like some strings and some horns, and this in like New York, Philly, DC. That's her one crew. And you got the like, you know, the South crew. Then you got the Cali crew. So I was part of the New York, Philly, DC crew. And so we did all of her like East Coast shows and shit, and it was lit. Like we did a lot of crazy shows. Like my favorite one we did was the Dave Chappelle like Radio City Music Hall show. He did like a comedy skit.
What? Tell me about that, cuz.
It was so lit. It was like I was like partying in the back with Dave Chappelle, my nigga. Like fucking, I couldn't say nothing to him, and I probably lasted for like 30 minutes, but it was crazy. Like just I saw that nigga. I was drinking the same wine and eating the same cheese as this nigga, like you know, eating them crackers. It was crazy. Like it was lit, yo. And then you know. She's definitely like fun to play for, and her music is crazy. Like, you know, I've said some wild things about it, which are all true, but like my experience was like, I don't want to go too deep into it, but my experience started off kind of terrible doing that gig. And then as it went through the years, it ended up being really fun and dope. Like we got to do some cool ass shit. And like, she like kind of peeped where like she needed us and where she didn't need us, because Solange kind of like runs her whole entire operation, which is like tough. Because it's like we're all kind of on your time where you can't delegate anything to anybody else, and like, you know. But like playing for her is different, where we probably don't even see her for most of the day. We'd get our like cues. We get the whole show run through by like a like kind of like stage director. And like the stage director is even more, it's like, let me not say that, but stage director just gets us hyped. Like she's like the perfect hype woman. She gives everybody something to do. And like her show is very, very, very like, it's almost like, it's super industry. Let me just say that. And it's dope. Cause it's just like, wow, like this is like the highest level of like being an artist. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got so many resources. Like, yo, this is crazy. You know, it's just like these videos are put together for you, setups, the light. And I was just talking to my friend about the light. When you get to a point as an artist where your light show is connected to your music, that's how you know you making money doing that shit. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she has a dope like stage design and everything, and for her videos. And I haven't gotten a chance to play a concert with her, which is I'm like, I can't wait for that day if that day comes. But doing those like, you know, COVID hits with her were awesome. Like she's lit. And I don't know, in terms of the artists, like they're like artists, you know, like I feel like Solange, she's really cool. Solange really does do all of that shit herself. Like she comes up with her own choreography. Like Solange doesn't have any like band directors or anything like that. Like she does, but she kind of is directing the whole like almost every aspect of it. Like so it's lit, you know, being at that level, but then having that much control. Then like, you know, it's industry. So you end up sitting around waiting so many hours when you play those gigs. They kind of like just kidnap you for the day. And like, you can make better money playing other gigs, low key. But it's like funny. It's like, I mean, if I went on tour with an artist and I had like 50 flights and like, you know, I would make probably like a good amount of money. Definitely like, if I was on tour with Solange, I might make like 50 or 60,000. And if it was like her, I'd probably make like 100, you know, 120. But like a lot of like, and you don't have to like work for that money, you get per diems. That's what like tour life is. But if you're just doing like hits, it's not like that. It's you could like, you know, those gigs are for the experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not necessarily for like what you know. It's just, you know, it's like playing for a major artist that millions of people love. It's like crazy feeling, like, you know,
Right. Yeah.
Because everybody has that dream in their like in their head, like being you know on the stage, being at that caliber. You know what I'm saying? Like if you make art, you want to get recognition, like, and yeah, man, it's definitely like some wild shit.
Yeah, it sounds like a interesting experience to say the least. Like that's why I peeped. I want to say H.E.R just dropped the album.
Yeah, she did.
She did, cool. And I peeped that she's doing like she's putting a festival together and some other John, and she got Brianna Cash on the festival.
Oh, that's lit.
Or Brianna Cash.
I haven't seen her in a minute. Who's is that her new John?
Or about yeah. It seems like we haven't talked in a minute, but on Instagram and on the little festival flyer, it was Brianna Castro.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have her on this show. I just need to talk to her. It's been a minute, but she's a great human being. But yeah, I peeped at her, dropped the album, like putting some festivals together, and yeah, man, I hope that you get that call. You deserve that show. You get whatever the fuck you want for real. Like,
man, you already know, bro. You know, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah,
it's gonna come if it needs. If it, you know, if the universe wills it so, it's gonna happen. Like, you know, I'm gonna be good. Like, I'm still enjoying this shit, just living. Like, you know, it's like, you know, all that industry shit is great. I like love doing it, but I can't front. Like, I definitely want to like build something from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
facts.
That's where my like heart is at. So man.
Wow, man, you know, create that balance. You know what's up. Like you gotta get those checks and have this experience that could definitely help you create what you're trying to create from the mud. Which
from the mud, yo.
The mud. And yeah, it's been a pleasure just being your friend. And I remember we put on a couple shows together. And this goes back to like just how fire the Philly musicians are. I remember we was putting shows together and like just Bulls was just hopping on the keys and you was like, oh yeah, that's Adele's key player. Or like this nigga plays drums for Most Def or some shit. And this nigga was just pulling up at our like little shows with like 150 people in them drums. And I was like,
yeah.
Like, and then you know, I was rapping with him, like I forget his name, Eric Wright, maybe was his name. I don't know.
Eric
Wortham, right. But like, yo, I'm just like backstage talking to this nigga, talking about touring with Adele. I'm like, who? Like, nigga, this is one of Dahi's home. Like, I just thought you, I just thought you was some bull.
No, bro. No, that's my OG, bro. That's my guy.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
A couple times somebody just pulled up and I was just rapping with him. He was like, yo, dog, you know who you was just rapping with? And I'm like, no, it's just I thought it was just some boy that was nice. I don't know. But
no, Philly music scene is amazing, bro. Like being from here, like yo, everybody's MD is from Philly, like King 1000, like like I tell people all the time, if you're from Philadelphia and you like you pay your dues, which means that like you have respect and like you can play in every setting and people like, you know, like the way you play in Philly, you can go to almost like all the industry cities and like become like, you know, one of my folks, he played drums. He used to like just be real low key guy, super low key ball. See, I like remember running into him at the jam sessions. He would play, sounded good in them Jones, but like, you know, you didn't see him like playing all over the place, but he could play though. And then like he moved to LA and like is doing shit with like Ty Dolla $ign now and like Kanye. And then like other boy, another same story. Now this boy just plays drums. He's working with Kendrick and like really touring with that boy. Like seen him on like a couple of the last videos, and I'm just like, damn, like, you know. And it's like sometimes like I'll be telling Candace like, yo, you know, when we have kids, like I'm gonna make sure my kids play like drums, bass, and piano for me. I'll play the sax because like they could be my backup band.
So hopefully. You need at least 3 kids then.
Yeah, I want 3.
One on
so I'm
each.
like, yo, if we get one on each, and then it be a band, then they can play like for major artists. Cause like I don't want them to take after me. Don't play the saxophone. You're always gonna be like the added on like piece when they get a little bit of extra money. But if you play like the piano or the drum, the bass of the drums very, very well, and you like learn how to play all type of styles of music, you could get like a major like touring gig and like never be home and like make millions. Like crazy. Like I got a lot of friends who have a lot of like fucking money and doing very successful, super talented musicians that just like this one boy was telling me a story about going on tour with Justin Timberlake. I'm like, gosh. Like I can't even imagine how much that like that's like gotta be like, because you know, say what you want about JT, his music is goofy and he's a white ball that's super soulful. Like everybody's buying his shit. Like you know, they probably made like 400,000. Yo, I know homies who did Rihanna's tours, bro, who have made $400,000 in a year.
Wow.
And that's just like, damn, like you put in your work hours, now you're reaping the rewards like of like, you know, it's like it's lit, man. And they're like OGs who like I've played with and like got to like bust it up with, you know what I'm saying? And most of them are a little older, but like they're all doing big things, man. You know, you gotta love the Philly scene and just, you know, what it has to offer.
Wow. Well, you know, God willing, you know, you deserve everything you deserve, my G. Amen. And you definitely like you right at the doorstep, and whatever like you said, whatever happens is supposed to happen. But and just the people you work with, like I feel like everybody in the industry, Solange and H.E.R. too, that are
but people was coming around though to them joints. I'm sorry to snap back to that shit, but it's funny, like people have always like appreciated like what we doing in like the grassroots Philly shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Especially like what you used to do, bro. Like them niggas doing major shit used to pop over to them joints for a reason, bro, because it's just like, you know, they're still like from where we stand, like at our point in a lot of senses too, you know what I'm saying? Like where they're looking to be like in the mix, looking to meet people, looking to get more fans to themselves, or however, you know, the case may be. But people used to appreciate that.
Yeah, yo, you're right. Cause like I said, you had a couple boys.
You still do, like, man.
There's a couple boys.
Go ahead.
No, there's a couple dudes who just hopped in and was like mad excited to just like, you know, play their part, to jam out or do whatever. And you was like, oh yeah, this is the keyboard player for Talib Kweli or whatever it was. Remember one of them was and like, but they was like, you just like me just coming through like, oh, we play for Rihanna. What? Like, but they always like super into these little close-knit parties and shows. Like they was fucking with it heavy. And I'm like, what? Like, dog, like you was just on tour with, let me say it again, Adele, and you just talking about how cool what we doing in North Philly, like just fucking vibing, and it's real, like, cause that it's an energy, it's just something real about that. So like, that's cool. Them joints we had, I forget it, the spot, what was it, like 15th in Oxford? They had the little good ass wings. Yo, so many drawings, dog. I don't know, it's like Barbers Hall. Yeah, so many little drawings.
That was really the E-Make party for real. That was the hilarious part. Like she was doing all like work for that joint, and I was just kind of like making sure the band came through. I remember I would come home, bring a bunch of people from New York to come with me. You know, because a lot of them were playing with me too on that joint. Like my homie Mike, remember the singer ball?
Yeah, for sure.
He plays sax too. But yeah, man, like, you know, it was a lot of good joints, man.
Yeah,
it was a lot of good vibes.
I definitely cherish those experiences, and
You know, I'm still around, so they still like Philly didn't open back up, so
right,
I'm like tapping back in. You know, I done been to a couple shows, and parties,
yeah,
and
man,
events.
tap in, playing it out now.
Yes.
Definitely,
Nah.
once that joint's
Yeah,
up,
no.
definitely looking forward to go through and that,
Hope y'all
going
just
through
see, you
that.
know.
It's gonna be blasting out
I
here.
said in the record, I hope these melodies reach you, you know.
They
So let
definitely,
these, you know, hopefully they do, you know.
they definitely gonna reach out to South America
Hey
somewhere.
man. Hey bro,
Or,
you know, let that joint bump out there. Hopefully somebody feel it, you know what I'm saying?
hey, let's
It's
go.
I definitely got blessed by all the people who did it. Like everybody snapped, yo. Like
Mm,
everybody snapped. It's very, very musical, very, very like, you know, all of the people who joined in with me, they just like tasty, tasteful.
mm.
Good Jones, man.
Oh, Dahi, Devon, it was a pleasure rapping
Yo,
with you, as usual. I
yeah, shit, you
gotta,
already know, bro.
I gotta
Yes,
go do
sir.
this laundry and get this lunch. I don't even
Hey,
know.
man, yo, just sending my blessings from out here, man. I hope you're doing good, bro. Miss you, bro.
Let's go.
And
Let's go. And
one day I gotta get out there and like experience the, you know,
hey, we gonna
you know,
God willing, we gonna be out here and we slide back to Philly. Definitely got rap. Oh, as usual. I remember you was actually before I left, you was like one of the last people I rap with. You, Abe, and Gabe. But man, it's all love to you, man. I really appreciate you. The journey that I'm on, and we've been on. And holla at me, cuz.
thanks.
Get it popping. Have a good ass show. Happy
Yeah, bro.
birthday.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna definitely get at you. I'm gonna just text you, hit you up, see how you doing soon. You know.
Yeah, dog. Yo, get WhatsApp, cuz. We be talking
Yeah.
these
All right.
DMs. Like, you
Facts.
know, you don't got
I'm
WhatsApp.
about to pull it up on my computer.
All right. That's the, I mean, DM works too, but WhatsApp is really where it's at as far as keeping in
That's where
touch
it's
with
at.
people. Yeah. But peace.
Solid.
Peace and love.
All right, bro.
All right.
Love you, man. I'll holler at you.
Love you too, man. Thank you. This was real good.
You know, good job.
Yes, sir. For the homies.
Peace.